Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. It's a real pleasure to follow the member for Washington and Sunderland West. I'm really delighted that she was able to come off the front bench and give the speech she just did, and it's a real pleasure and privilege to have listened to everything that she had to say. I'm delighted to be able to give my very strong support to the bill before the House today, and in particular start by paying huge tribute to the members that have brought it here. Of course, it stands in the name of the Honourable Member for Thurston Moulton, who chose to bring it here and who introduced it with such eloquence and passion. But as many others have said, there are other members who have worked very hard on this issue for a number of years. Of course, the Honourable Member for Colchester and the Honourable Members for Eddersbury and Banbury have shown enormous courage and compassion in taking what have been very difficult personal experiences and bringing them here to Parliament to make sure that the law operates for other people in the future in a way that will help them. And I think their conduct around this issue shows Parliament at its best. It shows Parliament demonstrating compassion and shows people coming here with real experience and using that to improve the lives of our fellow citizens. And I just congratulate and pay huge tribute to all of those members who have brought us to where we stand today. I think other members have spoken very eloquently about the merits of this bill. In a way, it's rather sad that this bill is even necessary, because if employers behaved with compassion and sensitivity, this bill wouldn't even be necessary. But we have heard examples given where employers, either deliberately or just through carelessness, haven't behaved as they should towards bereaved parents. And I think making sure that it is compulsory that they do behave decently is exactly the right thing to do. And I think a couple of members, particularly the member for Banbury and the member for Washington and Sunderland West, just now, drew attention to the pay component. It's not enough simply to give people time off work and to make that automatic. It's important people get some pay for that as well, particularly to help people on lower incomes for whom loss of pay, even for a couple of weeks, is a really serious matter. So I'm delighted that this bill encompasses not just time off, but also pay as well. There is an issue I would like to raise, and I'd be very interested if the Minister could respond specifically to it in her remarks in a few moments, which is very closely linked to the issues in this bill, and it may be something that the Honourable Member for Thurston Moulton and the Government might consider including at committee stage if it's in order to do so. If not, perhaps the Government could consider it more generally. And that is to do with children who are born incredibly prematurely. My twins were born at 25 weeks and 1 day, and of course for many parents whose children are born so prematurely, there is not a happy ending, and many parents in the University College Hospital neonatal unit were bereaved following their children's birth at that level of prematurity. But some children, thanks to the miracles of modern science, do survive. Thankfully, my twins were amongst those. But there is a very good case, I think, articulated very well by a Croydon resident, Catriona Ogilvie, which is that for parents of extremely premature babies, there is a case for giving extended maternity leave. And the case that Catriona makes is that clearly when the baby comes out of the neonatal intensive care unit, they are like, hopefully, not in all cases, but often, like any other baby. But there is, of course, the period when the baby is in the neonatal intensive care unit, when parents want to be and have to be present, often almost 24 hours a day. And I think in those cases there is a case for offering extended maternity, statutory maternity leave with pay, perhaps for babies born before 30 weeks or maybe 34 weeks gestation. Now, I realise this may be, the point I'm raising may be outside the scope of this bill, given its short and its long title. If it's inside the scope of the bill, I would certainly urge the Honourable Member for Thurston Moulton to consider amendments speaking to this point. If it's outside the scope of the bill, I'd be very interested to hear what the Minister thinks about the suggestion which Catriona Ogilvie has made. I think it would be an improvement to our legislation if we could consider moves in that area. But, Madam Deputy Speaker, in conclusion, I'd like to just put on record once again my congratulations to the members involved in bringing this bill forward, and very strongly commend it to the House, and I hope it rapidly progresses through the various stages of parliamentary approval and gets onto the nation's statute books as expeditiously as it possibly can.